Hello, everyone, and good morning. I wanted to want to come on here today and do a part two of visual, part two of vanity, part two of the outer shell and the conditioning. If you guys know me and have been watching for a while, every time I do these videos that are from the heart, I take accountability for myself before speaking. So I make sure that I connect with self. When I connect with self, I connect to God and to my heart. And when I speak from the heart, and use all the tools that God gave me, the experiences, so I can speak some truth. I do it when I'm fasting. I make sure that it's before I break my fast. I do it with no makeup and as natural as possible. And we'll start with that. Being, almost 50 years old now. Next month I'll be 50. So I say half of my life I have achieved. I'm graduating to senior to grand. And that's how I look at it, right? So I already lived the first, basically the first 50 years of my life. So, what is natural? The first 20 years of my life, especially between the, teens and probably early 30s, it was very much about the outer shell and fitting in. And I wasn't obviously where I am today, that I'm happy exactly with how I am. I just try to maintain who I am. So for a long time, I was in that programming of the world that everybody was supposed to look a certain way. And if you didn't look a certain way, then you don't fit in. And you're scared to be your true self because your true self does not match what people are painting, because we're not all the same. We're same as, sisterhood and brotherhood and being humans, but we're all uniquely different. So trying to fit in is very difficult, and we all try to do it. We do it with how we dress. We do it with, following trends and, and again, I always look at myself, because it's easy to look at everybody else and point the fingers, but it's, you're being true to yourself when you look at yourself. So for me, I see the conditioning that was for me. So I was always a very small person. My dad is maybe 5'6", 5'7". My mother was like barely 5 feet tall. So I'm a very small, person organically. And so growing up, I started, being a teenager, and all my friends were, growing and developing, they were developing hips and, breasts. And I was like, well, when am I going to get all this? I was literally like a little olive oil, right? Like from Popeye. And I remember coming home and, asking my sisters, because I had sisters that were 18 years older than I was, 20 years older than I was. So I had, sisters that were all grown already. And so I would come home and I'd be like, how come I don't look like them, And she would tell me, we look like the Barbie. She was trying to make me feel good, We look just like Barbie doll, Look at the Barbies. They don't have a lot of boobs. They don't have nothing. They're just really tiny. And she goes, eventually you're going to appreciate that, because, just she told me eventually you're going to appreciate it. And I was just like, I would still go home and I'd be like, I must increase my bust. Literally trying to work out so I would grow these things, and they never grew, guys. So I was very conditioned to the point that as soon as I was able to financially get surgery, and I'm very candid about that. I've always, when people have asked, "Oh, you have plastic surgery?" Yeah, I got my breast done. I tell them what doctor I went to. I've been very open about it, but so I figured I needed to really touch bases on that. So as soon as I had, a financial way to get them, I ended up getting them. And I had multiple surgeries to get to where I'm at today because the way the body works, you can only stretch out the skin so much. So I ended up getting 3 surgeries within 6 years to get to where I'm at today. And I just, again, I was conditioned that, I was supposed to look like this. And I was, in the 80s, growing up in the 80s, 90s, where you see, everybody with the breast implants. That's when it was like booming. Like right now, the era is everybody being, with the injectables on their, hips and their behind, So it was a different era. It was all about the big, breasts back then, the fake look. And I was conditioned to that. If I knew what I knew, what I know today back then, I wouldn't have got them done. But then again, I wouldn't have experienced everything and gone through it. So again, I never had an issue with them. But, they bother me today. They bother me today when I travel. They're heavy and they're not organically me, right? So I don't remove them because I don't want to cause another surgery if I don't need to. So what I'm trying to say is that we do things and we learn from them. And I can only look at myself. I can give you my perspective, what I lived, and I understand that God gave me, these different options and these different lessons so I could go through them and be able to graduate from those lessons and be able to bring them to you today because, that's what I'm doing. I am a woman, a almost 50-year-old woman that has gone through most of the things that you guys have gone through. Right? It doesn't matter what age because we all go through, that acceptance because of the conditioning, because of what we see, in social media. Social media is amazing because we're able to connect. And I always tend to look at the bright side, but not everybody looks at the bright side. So people start to look at people that don't fit in and start pointing fingers, I had I had a friend that, or I have a friend that I spoke to yesterday, and he's a scientist, and he's the scientist that made Easy Kale. It's this product that's just one ingredient, just crushed up kale, and it stores for a long time, and you can, it alkalines your body. So it's absolutely amazing because when your body's alkaline, it kills all the acid, and the acid is what causes disease. So he's literally, trying to help humanity through what he makes. So, yesterday we had a conversation and he told me, he's autistic and he's very open about that. And first and foremost, I hate the words that, we conform to, like put ourselves into these bubbles. So he, for people to understand, he's autistic and they've, diagnosed him with that. So he told me, Nora, I am so blessed that I was, categorized in that because I get to be my genuine, true, organic self at all times. So, because we say, oh, they're, because he said it, we're awkward and we're not conformed like everybody else and people look at it as awkward. Well, they're just focused on a different scale, something that we might not be awoken to. Elon Musk has a sort of autism as well. And again, it's just, a bubble that you put yourself into. But when he said that, I was like, wow, like how amazing is that? Like he gets to be his true, genuine self at all times. And he looks at it that way. He said that he arrived to an award because he's been given so many awards, like real life superhero type thing. He always helps the homeless community. He's just always giving back. And he said he arrived to the awards in his red scooter on stage. And of course, some people were like, oh, he's autistic, so he's going to do like whatever he wants. And then to this day, people are still talking about it. So he gets to be his genuine self. And that's what we need to be. We need to stop trying to conform to everything and everyone and just be with ourselves and be able to know who we are. And with that takes time to be by yourself, literally, and just your unit. And that might be your husband, your partner, I should say. That could be your children and your home base. And take away all the distractions and start with self. Right now we're in a moment where we've been through the masculine state for the last 6,000 years, the masculine energy, and now we've entered the female energy. And so for a long time, because the male has overtaken the woman has tried to overstomp the man instead of be equal and unite and heal, because as a woman we are healers, right? So a lot of us have been in that masculine state, and now we're balancing out. And when we balance out, we remember who we are. And I say remember who we are because, again, woman has tried to be like man or be a man because we've been so conditioned in either we're going to take over and we don't trust, that we've tried to be just like men, have, and I'm going to get to it, have sex with people in a way where it's very casual. And sex is not casual. It is a form of energy, an energy entwinement. And in that energy entwinement, you leave part of you in those people. And if you are casually, as what it's called today, I mean, I don't even know what it's called today. If you start with that, and you're doing it multiple times with different partners, and you're keep adding and you keep adding and you keep adding, you're so entwined with that energy of everybody that for you to find your true self, it's a little difficult because you don't know which one is your true self when you have all these different energy flows going through you. And again, women and men are very different, and God made us uniquely different so that we could unite and help us grow together. And really, they always say opposites attract, but it is true. Men are they're wired differently in every which way, genetically and everything, and women are as well. So as women, as we are the ones that birth, we can't, it's not in our genetic to just be with multiple people, because we keep that energy within, as we're inner and men are outer. So we've been trying to, again, live through the outer when we don't even know who we truly are. So we go back to that. we need to declutter. We need to get rid of the programs of what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to do, who we're supposed to be with, and start really finding that light, because we're all the light. All of us are. We all have that light within. It's just like I always try to say, I compare it to a candle. You know, we're all that light. We're all that we all have that candle within, which is the spirit, but it has no oxygen. It's not breathing. So I will come and give you a little light, and then you light up on your own. And then you could go share that light and light someone else up. Because remember that it doesn't matter the messenger. What truly matters is the message, right? Again, you have to make that connection that God lives within us, and God's in every living thing. And when you wake up to that truth, and when we wake up that flame that has, you know, our spirit in there, when we do that, we all rise. And we rise together, guys. So let's, I hope I addressed a lot of the topics that I was trying to get through, you know, the physical realm, the programs, and just trying to be back more to your organic self, because we choose these bodies, these temples, these vehicles before we even get here. We choose our name. There's contracts that are made, and the contracts are with people we marry, and the children that we have. And we do all that. Those are my beliefs. We do all that, and those are my knowings prior to being here. So when we come here in our bodies, and that's what I'm trying to get through, is to accept yourself and to really just trust yourself, because now I understand why I chose this temple and why I was going to be happy with it. I am very athletic, and I know the importance about being flexible, because flexibility, that's how they measure your age. So if you go to like a specialist, they measure you, your age through your how flexible you are, because the older you get very, things don't flow, and you need to have things flowing. So stretching is very important. And when you're built, but you know, big busted, there's certain things that you cannot do when it comes to different positions in yoga to let things flow. So again, you know, I'm a perfect example that we live and learn, and we can't change the past, but I can share my experience with you guys. And then maybe, not maybe, I just know that the people that need to hear it, that need to learn, will learn. Because that's what's going on with this web that they built, you know, the internet. People, I've said it, you know, they built it to imitate the brain. The web is the trying to imitate God, but we're going to look at the bright side. The bright side is that it's connecting me to you guys. And so, again, the right person's going to hear that, and I will continue to do videos, even if it's just one person that gets something out of it. And I know there's so many more. So I will continue to do this and bring light and shed as much love as I have to give. So sending you guys a lot of love. Bye-bye.